The final day for this exercise, and indeed, as Honorable Mike Sebalu told us yesterday, now the heat is starting to rise higher and higher. Well, hello there. Good morning to you. This is Good Morning Uganda. Welcome, and you are watching UBC TV, here to inspire you. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and looking at elsewhere in Africa, just a bit of an update. Of course, it's election season in Cameroon, and Cameroon's top court rejects election petitions amid clashes. In the north, very interesting, Cameroon's Constitutional Council on Wednesday dismissed all petitions contesting the October 12th presidential election, paving the way for the announcement of full results, while security forces and opposition supporters clashed in the north, of course, with the 92-year-old Paul Biya reportedly poised for an 8th term in office. And of course, lots of stories. Hopefully we get to look at hotly contested areas here in Uganda, of course, because it's nomination season for us. But I'm not alone to do this. I am with Robert Chiravo Nyonyintono. Good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to you, Julie, and our viewer. Thank you very much for waking up with us. Well, this is the final day unless otherwise. But I remember Justice Simon Byabakama, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, was very clear when he said, we do not expect an extension. He said, usually these are 2 days and strictly 2 days. Now that means for all MP aspirants, if you missed yesterday, today is the deadline for you to go and get nominated. I must say, Julie, I want to thank all the candidates that went for nomination yesterday. I was in a certain part of this country and I saw the candidate of NRM bypassing that of NUP, then I saw that of Blue, you know, peacefully. There were no funny clashes.
Right.
It was very peaceful. The Electoral Commission also seemed very organized, I must say. People would move in as long as they have what it takes to be nominated. The exercise was smooth by and large, to say. That was day one. So we just hope and pray that the final day, which is today, that the same thing and even better will happen. Of course, we know Ugandans have challenges with hitting the deadline. We like doing things at the last hour. So today may either be so busy or we may have someone who still will come by closure of time. A simple reminder to you, the campaign agents, at 9 up to 5, game is done. So you have from 9 a.m. in the morning up to 5 p.m. Now that is when the Electoral Commission officials will close office, and that means you wait for another 5 years from today. So if you're interested, you've done all it takes. Ladies, don't waste time in saloons. Men, don't waste time ensuring so and so goes with you. You know the number is limited in terms of vehicles and persons that you take there. So just make sure you do not have those incidents I missed because of this. And you know what is required of you, by the way? One forgets the passport photos, and you're like, but for sure. You went to the bank, you paid the money, you had the original copies of your academics, then you come and you don't have the papers, the photos the Electoral Commission is going to use. So please.
Very true indeed. Or even the photo could not be, for some of them, there were not photos that were qualifying enough. Either the passport photo hides the
yes,
of your ears.
And I'm happy. Are you aware that Alex Waiswa Mufumbira was nominated in absentia?
He was. Now, let's have a look at the hotly contested areas when it comes to the general 2026 elections. We do look at the northern region, and the main contenders there are Betty Amongi, representing the UPC party, and Ruth Acheng, NRM, that is for Lira City Woman MP. That is one
a very hot race. Both of them are ministers in the NRM government. One was the incumbent, the other one has just come in there.
And in the Buganda region, of course, independent Theodore Sekchikubo, who, of course, is currently still under the NRM as of the current regime. But when it comes to the 2026, he'll be independent, and he will be against Emmanuel Rashande of the NRM party for Luemiyaga County MP. Still in Buganda region, Matthias Mpuga under DF and Lubowa Sebina under the NUP ticket for Nyendo Mukungwe. That one indeed is one that is to look forward to, given where Matthias Mpuga came from. and where he is at right now. Now, still with Buganda region, main contenders DF Abed Bwanika and Patrick Chimba for Masaka Chimanya Kawunira. Wow! Oh my goodness, indeed. Now for another place in Buganda, Maokota North. Well, this one too, I must say, Robert, is one to look
Yes, that
into.
one I have no doubt.
Given what it was like 2021, Amelia Chambade under the NRM ticket, and Hilary Chega, whom we know as Dr. Hildeman, on the NUP ticket. Will he come back?
Will the wave thing work?
This is the other one to look
Fire.
forward to, Busiro East, and that is behind the two main contenders. That is Honorable Segona Medad under the independent ticket.
Incumbent.
After he failed to win. I was corrected yesterday by Honorable Mike Sebalu that we say he failed to win the NUP ticket. He was not denied the NUP ticket. And of course, Matthias Walukaga, who was given the NUP ticket for Busiro East, and Judith
That is another hot
Nabakova
one.
against Joyce Bagala, who is under the NUP ticket, independent ticket this time round, but of course went to Parliament. She is the incumbent, went to Parliament on the NUP ticket. This time round she's coming as
And I am aware in that constituency there is a NUP candidate as well.
Yes, there is. Actually, I think it's this lady who acts Nabosa, yes. And coming to Mukono Municipality, Reverend Peter Bakaluba Mukasa on the independent ticket, of course, having come out of NUP, having failed to convince the NUP party to give him that ticket. And of course, he'll be against Honorable Betty Namboze on the NUP ticket.
I highly doubt the fire. I highly doubt the fire there. Namboze still...
She still has the power.
I highly doubt.
Well, let's look at Semuju Nganda, who's holding the flag for PFF against George Musisi of the NUP party for Wakisokira Municipality. Semuju could...
No, Semuju is a bull in the crowd. Let me tell you. Yes, Semuju is a bull in the crowd.
On that one.
And there, I highly doubt the wave thing can work. Semuju is a bull in the crowd.
But given that it's Wakiso, you never know.
But he's opposition still.
Yes.
Get that. If he was not opposition, but he's opposition still.
Yeah.
And highly grounded. I highly doubt this time the power of the wave will have meaning.
This time round wave, no.
No, I highly doubt.
Yes.
But we will see what Ugandans will say. But if someone got a ticket with the power of the wave, I highly doubt.
Now, Ronald Chibule from Mukono North against Chiwanuka Abdallah. Ronald Chibule is under the NRM ticket. And Chiwanuka Abdallah is on the NUP ticket.
Now, I don't know much of Chiwanuka Abdallah.
But
I know Chibule was
Chibule
there for some time, but also I would give it 50-50 there.
Rwenzori region, main contenders, Ferigo Kambale, NRM, and Robert Centenary on the FDC, that is for Kasese Municipality. I don't know what you think about that one. But
Centenary, if he plays his cards well. But also, this time there's so much that NRM has done in Kasese.
Right.
And they have played their cards very well. That one I must say, yes, it could be a hot thing.
Crispus Walter Chiyonga for Bukonzo West against Katushabe Atkins of the FDC party. And that is still for the Rwenzori region. Crispus Chiyonga wants to come back.
Chiyonga is still a bull there, I must say.
Yes. But that's what we can give you so far under the hotly contested seats. I wish the producer had given us the whole region of Zimbabwe because it's also quite interesting. 21 candidates altogether for the whole region of Zimbabwe for 5 seats only in the August.
Zimbabwe is very tricky, I must say. And one would need to do so much groundwork.
Right.
Because, for example, one of the female candidates there who happens to be an artist.
Nina
Rose, but she has the
ID name.
Yeah, the ID name now. I want to tell you why it's very tricky. Zimbabwe is predominantly NRM. NRM. Where, if we are to talk of an area where party matters, in Zimbabwe you're not NRM, it is not very easy for you to secure a victory there.
Well, we are here to bring you the stories as they transpire, And the best part of it is very educative, very truthful, and at the end of the day, inspiring you. But on that note, let's have a look at what we have on the local scene. I believe, of course, the obvious nominations are part of this story.
Well, let's begin with the campaign trail, where the NRM presidential candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni campaigned in Lamour district in the Acholi sub-region with a major pledge to improve road infrastructure and upgrade the health system. He announced that if elected, his government will elevate Padipe Health Center 4 to hospital status and construct the Chitigum Padibe Lakong Road as well as the Kitigum Palabek Atiak Road. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni called on voters in Gulu City to pay deaf ears to opportunists who want to drag Uganda back in the dark days of political and social violence. He made the remarks while addressing a mega public rally for Gulu District and Gulu City at Kaunda grounds in Gulu City. Yoweri Museveni's campaign trail entered day 2 in the heart of the Acholi sub-region. In Gulu City and the district, the leaders and locals declared their readiness to give him overwhelming support in the forthcoming elections. The president's visit comes at a time when the ruling NRM party is consolidating its influence in a region once known for its opposition leaning. The Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among, has reaffirmed her commitment to advancing key development programs and projects for the people of Bukedye and safeguarding the progress achieved in the Teso sub-region. Speaker Annette Amongi made this pledge shortly after being nominated as the woman member of Parliament for Bukedye district for her 3rd consecutive term. The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, made history as the first candidate to be nominated for the position of District Woman Member of Parliament for Katakwi District, representing the National Resistance Movement. The Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robin Nabbanja, was officially nominated to contest in the 2026-2031 parliamentary elections. Nabbanja was the first candidate to be duly nominated at 9 a.m. and 15 minutes past by the Kakumiro District Returning Officer, Honest Baguma, at the Kakumiro Town Council Electoral Commission offices. The first Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, was nominated and vowed to continue monitoring government commitments to the people of Busoga and Eastern Uganda. She was accompanied by other parliamentary aspirants from Bugabula South, Bugabula North, and Buzaya constituencies. Winding up our local stories this morning, the Alliance for National Transformation and presidential candidate General Mugisha Muntu appealed to the teachers in Kakumiro and Kibale districts to support ANT candidates in the 2026 general elections, pledging to enhance teachers' salaries if elected. He said an ANT government would prioritize fair remuneration for teachers, recognizing their vital role in shaping the nation's future. Crowds in Hoima turned up in large numbers to welcome National Unity Platform candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who arrived holding the party flag amid slight rains and great excitement. However, many supporters were unable to access the venue to listen to his message due to overwhelming crowds. Kyagulanyi promised to fight land grabbing across Uganda and urged the people of Hoima to vote for him and his team for better service delivery. He emphasized his priorities in education, agriculture, health, and improved salaries for teachers, health workers, and security officers. Now that brings us to the end of our local stories. Let Julie take us through what the rest of the world has for us.
You know, that image of crowds as Bobby Wine was, giving his manifesto and his campaign. I wondered, are all of those supposed are meant to vote? Are they in the voter register?
Now, you see, campaigns lie, and that is for every candidate, whether NRM or NUP, because not all that come for these rallies are necessarily your supporters or their voters. People will come to see who His Excellency is. People will come to see who Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is. People will come to see who Mugisha Gregory is. So there are those, some will come because of the kadodi, the dancing, some will come because, this is a person in their area.
Yeah.
So crowds sometimes not necessitate that because we do not ask for a voter slip for you to attend a campaign rally. Anyone, yesterday I witnessed in March India, people are doing their own things. And who is that? Sewanyina. They just go. Hey, let's see, how does he look? Has he lost weight? So there are so many things that bring people to your rallies. And if you look at masses or crowds and count that as your victory, you may be disappointed on the actual day when they count and announce what you've been able to get from the ballot boxes.
Right, so let's have a look at what we have in the foreign scene. Quickly, the U.S. has announced new sanctions targeting Russia's two largest oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil, in an effort to pressure Moscow to negotiate a peace deal in Ukraine. Quote unquote, Ukraine, pardon me, every time I speak to Vladimir, I have a good conversation. And it just doesn't go anywhere. They just don't go anywhere, President Donald Trump said after a meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte to discuss peace negotiations. The sanctions announcement came one day after Trump said a meeting planned with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Budapest would be shelved indefinitely. Earlier Wednesday, Russia unleashed an intense bombardment on Ukraine that killed at least 7 people, including children. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the new sanctions were needed due to Putin's refusal to end this senseless war. He said these oil companies fund the Kremlin's war machine. Now is the time to stop the killing and for an immediate ceasefire, Bessent said in a statement. Speaking alongside Rutte in the Oval Office on Wednesday, Trump criticized Putin for not being serious about making peace and said he hoped that the sanctions would help force a breakthrough. Interesting twist of events at that. But let's move on to Israel's parliament that has voted to give preliminary approval to a bill to impose Israeli sovereignty on the occupied West Bank in a move tantamount to annexation of the Palestinian territory, which would be a blatant violation of international law. Despite opposition from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his Likud party, lawmakers in the 120-seat Knesset voted 25 to 24 on Tuesday to advance the bill in the first 4 votes needed to pass it into law. A Knesset statement said the bill was approved in a preliminary reading to apply the sovereignty of the State of Israel to the territories of Judea and Samaria, West Bank. It will now go to the Knesset Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee for further deliberations. The vote, which came a month after U.S. President Donald Trump stated he would not allow Israel to annex the occupied West Bank, was held during a visit by U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance to Israel to shore up the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. Now, onto the continent. Judges in Cameroon have dismissed calls for the partial or total cancellation of the heavily disputed presidential election, saying they will announce the result on Monday. Major cities in the country have been rocked by protests, with opposition supporters alleging that the 12th of October poll was marred by irregularities, including ballot stuffing. Judges on the Constitutional Council dismissed 8 petitions, citing insufficient evidence of irregularities or a lack of jurisdiction to annul results. Opposition candidate Issa Chiroma Bakari has declared himself the winner, a claim rejected by allies of the 92-year-old President Paul Biya, who is seeking another 7-year term. Biya has been in power for 43 years and addressed only one campaign rally ahead of the election. Chiroma Bakari, 76, is a former government spokesperson who broke ranks with Biya to challenge him for power. He refused to file complaints with the Constitutional Council, whose judges have been appointed by Biya, choosing instead to declare himself the legal and legitimate president. Africa. Anyways, let's have a look quickly at what we have in the dailies today.
Well, in the New Vision this morning, we have 11 war staff that have been arrested over 9 billion shillings fraud. There's always a lot of money in this war thing. Arrested. Now, suspects to be charged today face 14 years jail term. And hundreds nominated for parliamentary elections. Well, we've just looked through some, but the outstanding ones, of course, we have Ofono Pondo there for past elderries. We have Minister Isin Norbert Mao, DP President, was nominated there. Fred Mukasambide, Nina Rose, Mike Mukula has a son who looks exactly like the father there for Soroti City as well, and quite a number of them. The vision will bring you that. Then Museveni rallies Gulu for NRM. Still ask URA. Well, the Commissioner General is there trying to answer a number of things. And 46 people perish in Gulu highway accident. Well, Julie, take us through what our brothers and the neighbors have.
Yes, indeed. In the Citizen, we're starting off with dialogue. Security dominators, CCM rights bodies meet with just a week remaining before Tanzanians head to the polls. Right organizations yesterday urged the ruling CCM to take urgent steps to ensure security, safeguard democracy, protect media freedom, and promote national dialogue ahead of the 2025 general elections. Now, Tanzania finally attains sugar self-sufficiency. That's also another story to look at in the Citizen. Quickly looking at what we have in the Daily Monitor, loose cannon. That's the headline in the Daily Nation, pardon me. I said Daily Monitor, but it's the Daily Nation from Kenya. Impunity in February, the government stoked controversy with disparaging remarks on a community. Also costly, Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga has ignited national outrage with utterances viewed as celebrating the death of former Prime Minister, that is Raila Odinga, with ensuing public backlash, forcing him to quit his post in the Governor's Council. But demands for tougher sanctions intensified, even as the incident triggered a political shutdown. Also another story to look at how senior school admissions will be done. Well, let's end with the dailies, but Robert.
Well, just also to congratulate all graduates of Nkumba University. They will be holding their 27th graduation. That is on the 25th of October, this Saturday. And to let you know that Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC TV, will be broadcasting this live. It will be running on UBC TV, so all graduates and their parents of Nkumba University for the 27th graduation, please keep glued on UBC TV to get that live coverage.
All right. Indeed, take note of that. Good morning, Uganda does continue. 0709602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should take. But next month on the 9th, this song will be making 33 years since it was released. And Michael Jackson said that it is the best song he ever recorded. Heal the World, making 30 years on the 9th of November. And it plays for you right now as we take a short break, and we'll be back with another conversation with the nomination season that is.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's day 2 of nominating members of parliament aspirants who will soon become candidates. That is today. And of course, the final day for this exercise. And indeed, as Honorable Mike Sebalu told us yesterday, now the heat is starting to rise higher and higher. Well, hello there. Good morning to you. This is Good Morning Uganda. Welcome, and you are watching UBC TV, here to inspire you. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and looking at elsewhere in Africa, just a bit of an update. Of course, it's election season in Cameroon, and Cameroon's top court rejects election petitions amid clashes. In the north, very interesting, Cameroon's Constitutional Council on Wednesday dismissed all petitions contesting the October 12th presidential election, paving the way for the announcement of full results, while security forces and opposition supporters clashed in the north, of course, with the 92-year-old Paul Biya reportedly poised for an 8th term in office. And of course, lots of stories. Hopefully we get to look at hotly contested areas here in Uganda, of course, because it's nomination season for us. But I'm not alone to do this. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to you, Julie, and our viewer. Thank you very much for waking up with us. Well, this is the final day unless otherwise. But I remember Justice Simon Byabakama, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, was very clear when he said, we do not expect an extension. He said, usually these are 2 days and strictly 2 days. Now that means for all MP aspirants, if you missed yesterday, today is the deadline for you to go and get nominated. I must say, Julie, I want to thank all the candidates that went for nomination yesterday. I was in a certain part of this country and I saw the candidate of NRM bypassing that of NUP, then I saw that of Blue, you know, peacefully. There were no funny clashes.
Right.
It was very peaceful. The Electoral Commission also seemed very organized, I must say. People would move in as long as they have what it takes to be nominated. The exercise was smooth by and large, to say. That was day one. So we just hope and pray that the final day, which is today, that the same thing and even better will happen. Of course, we know Ugandans have challenges with hitting the deadline. We like doing things at the last hour. So today may either be so busy or we may have someone who still will come by closure of time. A simple reminder to you, the campaign agents, at 9 up to 5, game is done. So you have from 9 a.m. in the morning up to 5 p.m. Now that is when the Electoral Commission officials will close office, and that means you wait for another 5 years from today. So if you're interested, you've done all it takes. Ladies, don't waste time in saloons. Men, don't waste time ensuring so and so goes with you. You know the number is limited in terms of vehicles and persons that you take there. So just make sure you do not have those incidents I missed because of this. And you know what is required of you, by the way? One forgets the passport photos, and you're like, but for sure. You went to the bank, you paid the money, you had the original copies of your academics, then you come and you don't have the papers, the photos the Electoral Commission is going to use. So please.
Very true indeed. Or even the photo could not be, for some of them, there were not photos that were qualifying enough. Either the passport photo hides the stature of your ears.
And I'm happy. Are you aware that Alex Waiswa Mufumbira was nominated in absentia?
He was. Now, let's have a look at the hotly contested areas when it comes to the general 2026 elections. We do look at the northern region, and the main contenders there are Betty Amongi, representing the UPC party, and Ruth Acheng, NRM, that is for Lira City Woman MP. That is one
a very hot race. Both of them are ministers in the NRM government. One was the incumbent, the other one has just come in there.
And in the Buganda region, of course, independent Theodore Sekchikubo, who, of course, is currently still under the NRM as
going to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Uganda goes to the polls 2026. Uganda decides 2026. And of course, presidential campaigns are already taking shape. But now that aspirants have become candidates for those who want to become members of parliament, day one was yesterday and day two is today. Well, now the election pressure has properly started, and we'll be seeing a lot of it and feeling a lot of it in the areas where we reside. Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for choosing to watch UBC TV. Now, to be a part of this conversation, 0709602592. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, and today we're just looking at day one. That was yesterday, day one of nominating Member of Parliament aspirants who became candidates as of yesterday, and of course more who will become candidates today. Once again, good morning and welcome to the show. Robert, how was yesterday?
Well, the first achievement, I must say, it was a peaceful exercise. That is one thing we want to credit the Electoral Commission and all the candidates that were nominated yesterday, the aspirants that were nominated yesterday, maintaining calm, law, and order. But also the supporters. Like I told you, you would see supporters of NRM with their candidate jubilating, chanting, some on top of taxis and all that, you know, bypassing those of National Unity Platform.
Yeah.
No provocations. Everyone is determined to go and register their candidate, or they are from registering their candidate. You would see those of DF, those of PPF. So I want to say thank you, Ugandans, for maintaining law and order and peace, and the Electoral Commission for being organized, because that is where we usually see hell break loose when maybe there are things that are not going on well on the side of the Electoral Commission. But if candidates come, they present, everything is well organized, they move in the room, present their credentials, then if they have lived the satisfaction of the requirements of the Electoral Commission for one to become a member of Parliament, for one to be duly nominated as a member of Parliament, then they go away. In most parts of the country, it was really done very well. Two, processions. I must say that there are some that went overboard, but by and large, we didn't have that too much of nonsense. I'm sorry to call it that way, because much as for you're going for nomination, me, I'm rushing my child to hospital. You don't know the condition she's in. Maybe she's a sickler and she has to get there, she's under an attack. So someone has been called to pick money somewhere. Someone is going for a job interview. Now, when you make these processions assuming that everyone is in the political excitement that you're in, or benefits from the activities you're doing at that particular moment. That is very wrong. So that's why I call it that nonsensical, where, you know, you're going for nomination. Why do you carry 4 vans? I saw one with about 6 taxis. I think they were stopping somewhere, then you would go to the venue.
Right.
But all along here, you're causing commotion to people. Unwanted wastage of time for others whose priority may not be the politics of the day at that particular time. Now, that I think police and some of the candidates, we need to think twice. Then also there was a challenge. It was very clear campaigns are not starting yesterday nor today. Official campaigns for members of parliament are starting on the 10th of November. I stand to be corrected. I hope that is the date.
Yes, 10th.
On the 10th of November. Now, you, when you're from nomination, you're given just to speak to your people briefly. Now, some of you had parties till 6 from nomination.
Even before you win.
Even before you win. At night you inconvenienced people till about 5 something. People are in your home dancing, you're jubilating, wondering what you're celebrating before you're finally declared a winner. Because you've seen some parliamentary elections ending in court and some losing their seats. So, what are you celebrating anyway? But if nomination is something to celebrate, it is okay with you. Now, there was a challenge. Official campaigns are starting on the 10th of November. Dear candidates who have been duly nominated and those that are going to be nominated, please do. So by and large, I can say that is how day 1 went, apart from a rare case of Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro, who was nominated in absentia, represented by his wife and Honorable Ronald Balimwezo. Also that it happened. And I can say we didn't have a major. In Mbale, is it Mbale City? I saw something rare. Of course, the other thing was the drama, how some candidates chose to come. Some on bicycles. There is a short man in Mbale. He's not among the little people. I don't think he qualifies. Let me try to... he's very... But for him, had taken long to see a candidate who is lifted from his home to almost a kilometer by people.
All right.
For nomination. No wonder he's... No, Judy, I mean, I must get this. He's very interesting. Okay, along the show, I'll mention his name. He's standing for a certain position. But I found him very interesting. Now they used to transport kings. Those days where they have something and there's a chair on top and one man here, the other here, the other here, the other here.
Yeah.
But I think he's also an independent. I'll ask the producer as we go ahead. He will look for that information displayed for us. That's one thing I found very interesting. Very interesting.
Now, as you get the details of that particular gentleman, let's look at the issue of independence. As we had a conversation with the veteran politician, Honorable Mike Sevalu, I did ask him a question on the issue of independence, or those who failed to convince their parties or who failed to win in order to get those party tickets and are now running independence. And he shared something I think that I found profound, that it's also a sign of your leadership as someone who's contending to be a leader. Does that prove your true leadership, or you're just chasing something that's not exactly true leadership? But what do you think of the issue of independence, of whom many were indeed nominated?
First, I want to say the issue of independence is very complicated to handle in our democracies. More so when the Constitution provides that. It becomes complicated. We are in a multi-party dispensation, but our Constitution gives the leeway for someone to contest as an independent. Now, the question is, are we talking about true independence as defined by the Constitution? That much as we went in multi-party dispensation, our Constitution knew that there are people who will not want to be affiliated or belong to any political party. Now, those ones were termed as independents. And when you go to Parliament, even the sitting structure, you'll have those on the opposition, you'll have those in the ruling government, and a seat for the independents. Now, it is very unfortunate that what we term as independents today are simply because they don't belong to a political party on the ballot. paper, but these are party members. And many of them will confess, I belong to NRM. I'm an NRM. I belong to National Unity Platform. I belong to NUP. Now, the framers of our constitution, in their wisdom, I don't think these were the independents they were talking about. They were talking about people who've chosen not to belong to any political party. But now it's unfortunate that we are talking about people who are disgruntled, people who went through process and maybe they are not fair to them, or people who failed completely but don't want to admit.
And actually, now that you say that, something indeed that I took from the conversation that we had with Honorable Mike Sebalu was the fact that if you're independent, choose to be independent from the word go, without leaning anywhere, so that your ideology or whatever you stand for as an independent is clear, and that defines your political career. And he stated that even if you're NUP or DP or FDC or NRM, choose to stand with that. And let us define your political career as such, as opposed to you being NUP, then the following, the next 5 years you're FDC, and then the next 5 years you're independent, and then it's hard to tell exactly what you stand for and why someone should believe in you to vote for you as to what you stand for. So if you indeed define what the Constitution identifies as a NUP, as an independent, as opposed to what we now have as independents, I guess now there are two different things that are not catered for.
But also, on the other side, I'll look at the people that are coming as independents.
In quotes.
Now, we have processes where various political parties select or come up. For the National Unity Platform, there is a committee, a vetting committee. Now there, it left a number of people who felt maybe things didn't come out very well. We had some allege it was about money, he who had money. We had some allege that. We had some who would wonder when it comes to ground, because they told them how one would qualify. They would look at how your strength on ground. Then, of course, they had these vetting interviews. Now, one would wonder that, excuse me, how did you test the ground of someone who stood for another position and you've taken them to another position? We had the NRM, where it was the power of the vote. It was by lining up. But also in some areas, yes, there were certain irregularities, we must say. But there was a tribunal where you would come and present, and if they saw evidence. So I want to say most of the parties, yes, by and large, they perfected, but it had loopholes. And some people, because let me tell you, Judy, if our political parties, those that belong to political parties, for you to get the flag, you're the best candidate that they have examined, or you're the will of the people. Now explain to me, in an area that is NUP dominated, why a NUP candidate would not win and an independent aligned to NUP wins. You get it?
Yeah.
You have a district like Mitiana. You've seen tough contenders. You have the Honorable Judith Nabakova and the incumbent. But remember, NUP has a candidate, and if your party tells you that we've gone on ground in terms of passing this and this, this is the best compared to you. And to say, I'm just giving an example, not that NUP will win or will not win. Now, if it comes out that what's the incumbent? Joyce Bagala takes that day. How would you explain that NUP vetting, that if she failed to convince them for the ticket, she wasn't the best? You get it? So also there were some challenges. We've seen NRM areas that these are NRM areas, opposition has nothing to say there. Now you have an NRM flag bearer who is defeated by an independent leaning to NRM. So these hard issues. However, the biggest challenge is, at the end of the day, sometimes the party loses out. And in these 2026 general elections, you're going to see how a certain party is going to have less number of members of parliament on the party flag because of the drama that happened in their vetting process.
My highlight, I think, when we come to independence was Honorable Medad Segona, who said, "Nzizina Nkuba mpya." Now, let's look at some of the comments that are coming through. Good morning, Uganda. My concern is that basing on the peaceful way of parliamentary nominations were done yesterday, I'd like to request Byabakama to ensure that the same is observed all through the campaigns. Thank you. This is Edson Mohanji, who is watching us from Entebbe. Good morning, Uganda. Odaro Vincent from Morukatipe, Tororo. I'm so happy that day one nominations went on very well without any serious interruptions. I do urge the candidates to be nominated today and their supporters to exhibit the same spirit so that this comes to a success. This is Chigwe Livingstone, councillor to be in Mutungo Ward. Politics has changed the narrative in a way that most of the intending candidates are incompetent. Actually, this makes the whole game to be considered useless. Thank you, Julie and Robert. Thank you so much for watching the show. Robert, as we begin to bring this conversation to a close, from what transpired yesterday, what do you think are the expectations of the voters?
Now that is where there is drama. What transpired yesterday, I was lucky, though it wasn't intentional, that I caught up with one of the candidates in March India, going to and coming from. Have friends who were hired to. But one thing I noticed is Ugandans, a huge population, do not know what a member of parliament is supposed to do. Or they know, but they have chosen to act like they don't know. People are telling you, but he has not given us money. He has not done this. People have become so, we've belittled ourselves. That our vote is worth 10,000. That our vote is worth 5,000. We've belittled ourselves that we don't expect from our leaders what their core mandate is. But we are living for today, not the future. Most of these candidates, people are waiting to get from them. The expectations are not basing on what is this person's ability. Yesterday I was here with Honorable Mike Sebalu, and of course one of our reporters, Jane, was in Uganda, and she gave a chance to some of the people who were duly nominated to speak. It was live, and I want to tell you, I saw some candidates, I won't mention which candidates, they could not even properly construct a sentence.
Yes,
when you listen to them, they couldn't make sense of the sentences they were, of what you would wonder, you get the chikara, you get the, but what has this person spoken? Now, these are people you're sending to parliament. Now, the voter is not looking at that. What is your ability to understand a budget? What is your ability to be on the floor of parliament? No wonder you have only 3 minutes. What is your ability to lobby? Voters are not looking or expecting that. They are looking at what is your ability to give us something. The voters' expectations, and then away from the money, there are those that I listened to a number of these members of parliament shortly after nomination. I'm going to construct roads. How? I'm going to build hospitals. Where? I'm going to, one even said, I'm going to ensure art teachers' salaries
I increased.
I was like, well, hey, what are you talking about? And why have you come anyway?
Indeed.
Because you don't know even what you're going to do.
It's important that you know the duty of a member of parliament, so that as you cast that vote, you're not casting it because you were given 20,000 shillings or 10K or 5K or maybe a kilo of portion of beans. It's because you are convinced that this individual is able to legislate laws for you, is able to represent you, your constituency on the floor of parliament, is able to have oversight when it comes to matters budget as well as appropriation. Those are the importances of a member of parliament. That is the main course meal. Any other reasons, whether attending burial ceremonies or your birthdays or your weddings, all those come as a dessert.
Making contributions.
Not necessarily important. They are up to between you and them, but not necessarily building you as a citizen of Uganda. So let's bring this conversation to its end. But as you prepare to go for to the polls as a Ugandan, make sure that what you're voting for is what you want your child to enjoy and your great-grandchildren and the generations thereafter. I will close this with a very interesting quote that I got to learn from yesterday, which I think you should chew on as well, that many of these candidates promise you heaven, yet they cannot even deliver hell. Good morning.
You just reminded me.
Taxation is a bit complicated, and the only way to demystify it and make it as easy to understand and to comply with is through engagement. Is there a limit to the number of cars a returning citizen is bringing into Uganda? Who has paid the excise duty on this water is not the supermarket which has sold you this bottle at 1,000. It's not the business, it is the man who is going to drink this water. We strongly believe that it will only be through such constructive engagement that we'll be able to broaden our tax base and build our country together.
Buza Commissioner. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Pick of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't go low.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
ours. Explore Uganda.
Good morning, and once again, thank you for joining us on UBC. My name is Zakia Lucky. There's just beautiful things happening. You did see what happens in Kainela, but like I did tell you earlier, it is not just about farming. It's not just about the furniture, like we had visited the wood workshop. And now it's right about the time where everyone's smile is just up because it's food time. I mean, organic foods are going to be served. I loved the setup. Who knew Indagala would act like a table mat? Now, this is what we are going to see. The beauty is that the plates and the cups are wooden. And this is being served with Indagala. So this is a whole beautiful experience that I can't wait to see with you, that I can't wait to show you, because it's just all Ugandan foods that being brought into one space, and just as colorful as the farm fest is going to be. Remember, we're at Kainela Farm. Stick around. Time for eating. Nobody should go there hungry.
My name is Olivia Nakalembe. I'm a communications officer at the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. What better way to celebrate Uganda as a food basket other than this? But also the one thing that we need to put into consideration when we are at functions like this pre-launch of the Farm Fest is the world is now woke to the concept of experiential tourism. And it's no wonder sites like these are now on the bucket list of literally every traveler. Tourism trends have changed. Gone are the days when when tourists came around to just visit and go away. Right now, tourists want to partake in the experiences that a particular tourism site offers. And that is exactly what Kainela Farm Lodge is all about. Once you come to the farm, you are given a cultural, an agricultural, and an adventurous immersion into literally every activity that is taking place here. You are able to partake in picking the fruit that you are going to eat. You are able to partake in, say, uprooting the root tubers that are going to be put on your plate. You are able to fish the fillet that is going to be on your plate. And right now, those are the trends that tourists have embraced, experiential tourism. And as you can see, the table is very, very full because we are gearing up for one of Uganda's biggest farm fests this country has had. The world is now woke, and they are looking at Uganda as that place that offers sustainable tourism products. And agrotourism is one of the concepts that ably speaks to that. A tourist will not only be able to come here and get to enjoy themselves, they even get a chance to interact with the community that is offering a hand into, every process that is taking place here. And that is one of the concepts pertaining sustainability that has been embraced. If your facility is not speaking and addressing community needs, then sustainability is out of the picture. The donors have also embraced that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to implore you, step out of that house this December. Step out of that tiled house. Come set foot on ground right here at Kainela Farm Lodge, one that has redefined the concept of agrotourism in the Pearl of Africa. You'll not only get to experience what is happening here, you'll get to learn as well. You're going to get to connect your roots back home. Is it the Western culture? We have the milk house here. Is it, are you a foreigner? We do have animals, we do have plants that come from that side, and they're prepared right here. So 24th to 26th of December, all that action is going down. Is it the music? Is it the traditional music? Is it the drums that you're looking for? Are you looking for a camping experience, or are you looking for a luxurious getaway in a farmhouse, in a lodge house? This is the place you need to be at.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Derek Senyonyi. Today I have something special that I would love to present to you. All of you that are watching me right now, you've grown up komujira beno bambi, abasinga temufunye, you've not got that chance of getting this dish being prepared the right exact way how it used to be prepared back then. So I'm inviting you on Christmas, that is 24th to 26th. We are going to be at Kainela Farms in Kayunga. We are going to be having the farm stay experience. Those of you that have not got that chance of enjoying and living on a farm, you'll get a chance to do quad biking, horse riding.
Nze Najibu Nsubuga, nze nkulu w'ekitongole kya Ssaabasajja Kabaka, Buganda Heritage and Tourism Board. Olwaliro tuli basanyufu nnyo, tuli wano ku Kainela Farms, ewa Mulamira mu Bugerere, nga tuzze ku nteekateeka ey'okutongoza ekivvulu kyaffe ekya buli mwaka eky'emmere eŋŋanda ennansi eyaffe gye tulina wano mu Uganda. Era tuli basanyufu nnyo nga bwe mulaba tuli mu byankatika wano, emmere ekiri kuno kyonna kyaffe kya mu nnimiro, tekuli muceere, tekuli kino, emmere yaffe ennansi. Mpulira bulungi nnyo nti abakainera bakoze omulimu munene nnyo okulaba nti babbulula emmere yaffe, naddala emmere n'ebintu byaffe ebirala ng'ebibala n'ebinyonyi, ebisolo n'ebintu ebirala bifaanaganako bwe bityo. Era akamere keeko kennyini akaalagirwa ke tuliko essaawa eno akalimu ekiriisa ekituufu.
The food is well prepared, and this actually speaks to our traditional gastronomic cuisine, where we have the steamed peas, the steamed nakati, we have the ruombo prepared in banana leaves, seeing pumpkin here, and then there is yam, the guinea paste, and the rest. And even the juice that we have here is juice made from carrots and passion. So this blend of passion and carrot has brought out this good color, and I really love it. So if we could probably profile our dishes, this will actually make the tourists also to pick interest in our dishes, and also make them learn how to prepare the dishes like the way we prepare them here in Uganda, because you realize that our dishes, the way we prepare them makes them actually to retain the nutrients that are present in the food.
I thought I had seen it all until I got to Kainela. I'm getting to see foods I have never heard of. I didn't know people eat enswa, but my neighbor just here is eating enswa. For that I was hesitant to taste, but I can tell you it's an experience that you would want to have. See, I have traveled, tasted different foods, but this is a whole different experience, bringing all cultures just in one place. And now the most exciting bit is this is a festival that is going to bring not just foods, but the color. And earlier we went through the farm, I'm like, my goodness, I didn't know anything like this existed. So if you want to know, if you want to see for yourself, you should make it a point to be there. It's on the 24th to 26th of December. I can't even speak. The food was that heavy.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Welcome back from Kainela Farm. In case you missed it, I hope you've got the virtual experience of it and look forward to the experience in December for the festival Time for Business. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and let's look at a guide to building generational wealth. Today, Kakura Ninsima is a Ugandan author and tech entrepreneur based in Canada. She says that her dream has always been to address generational wealth gaps, and through this, she decided to achieve it through literature. On the evening of 19th October, last Sunday, at 4 Points Hotel by Sheraton, Ninsima launched her book titled A Guide to Building Generational Wealth. It addresses the cultural relevance with the element of financial legacy and literacy for the Gen Z. Ninsima is hopeful that her book will create impact to African readers regardless of their financial statuses. The book is available on and at Aristoc bookshops in Uganda and also available online. Dr. Christine Kagwa, represented by the Managing Director of National Water and Sewerage Corporation, was the guest of honor, and many dignitaries were present at the function. Let's have a look.
Hi, my name is Kakura Ninsima. I'm the author of A Guide to Building Generational Wealth in East Africa. Right now, my profession, I am just a data analyst, and I own a tech company that does SaaS implementation on restaurant, hotels, retail, and travel as well, which is, we are launching a new software in November of this year, and we're excited to talk about it. And it's also geared towards African market, because we realize that in African market we have so many pain points that we haven't addressed. So my software is addressing those pain points for just Africa, because when you get softwares from Western world, they don't address our pain points. But I came here, I researched about the pain points that we have. Some of them you cannot use mobile money. Some of them you can't use offline. If the electricity is off, you can't use it offline. So that is an excitement that I'm happy to say about the software. And about generational wealth, the book, this is my first edition. Hey. And I released it in June of 2025. And I'm happy to launch it here in Uganda because everybody was asking me, why are you not bringing the book? I live in Canada, so I launched it in Canada. So they're asking me why I'm not bringing the book to my people. So I decided to, it's high time. What they asked me is I should deliver. So I came, I'm launching the book today, and it's available, to be available on Aristoc. Effective Monday. And then about the synopsis of the book is like, it talks about the cultural relevance. It talks about, because mostly the books we have that are Western world, let's say Rich Daddy, Poor Daddy, they don't talk about something that is Africa related. They talk about things that don't appeal to me as an African. So when I was reading these books, I was like, but there has to be something for us. So when I wrote the book, I researched more things that if someone, a girl from Bushenyi, where I'm from, reads this book, she will be able to understand the examples I'm using. And so I wrote about how to build a financial legacy, how you sit down with your family, talk about your values, because not every value can work for each and every family. So each family talks about their values, and then they write down like a statement, and then they follow through on how to execute those values and missions. Then I also talk about more digital world, so that the Gen Zs can understand. Because they usually they use digital. So I talk about investing in stock, ETF, mutual funds, all that can relate to Gen Zs. And then, but mostly is to learn about financial literacy. Education, knowledge is very important for us to learn and use those tools that I wrote in my book, so it can be executed. It took me about 3 years with COVID, so it took me about 3 years to do the research because I had to go to Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania to do like a physical research about the book. Yeah, it took me about 3 years. What it entails is usually I would love all the Gen Zs to start reading, because they say when you want to hide something from Africans, you put it in the books. Why should we be that statistics? Let's start reading and learn. And apart from my book, each and every book has questions to answer and reflect on what you've read. So each and every end of chapter you have questions to reflect on. We have on an ebook and a paperback, and it will be available at Alistock in Uganda at 7,500. So once you buy a book, we've also structured a course, which is an eight-week course on financial literacy that is self-paced, so that we are not leaving you to learn to read the book, but we are following through. If you have the goals you have set up, we have a website where you can register, and we help you through, guide you on how to execute your goals. So that course is self-taught on financial literacy, and it's available online.
My name is Dr. Rose Christine Kagwa. I'm representing the Managing Director of National Water and Sewage Corporation. I'm happy to be here, and I believe it's not by accident that I'm the one who came. As Uganda, we all know that we are struggling to get out of low income to middle income to a wealthy nation. We also know our population growth rate is really high, and a lot of the generation are young. It's very important that we focus on creating wealth, and that this is passed down to all generations. The book that has been written is really timely because it opens up new minds. It changes the mindset that we've had in terms of understanding wealth and seeing how it can not only be passed on but also generated. And I want to congratulate the author, for Ms. Nimsima, for the great job done. And I believe it's a beginning of not just one guide but many guides to come. Thank you.
My name is Frank Kapushenga. I'm a publisher based in Uganda and East Africa. And so what we are celebrating today is the launch of a guide to building generational wealth in East African families. That's a very, very interesting delivery we have today. And for the publishing arena and the literary arena, we have a reason to celebrate this book, touching a very pertinent topic about generational wealth. Many of us love to be wealthy, but for how long do we plan to be wealthy? We have a plan to make sure that this generation crosses over to different generations in our lives. It's not good enough to just say, I am wealthy today, and when you're gone, it all goes with you. And so Nisima brings a very, very interesting talk through her book that we should all look out for to be able to plan for our generational wealth as families in Uganda, in East Africa especially, and Africa at large, such that we're able to enjoy the fruits of our labor for as long as our children's children can be. And that is the cause that we have today, and this book is very important, and I hope that everyone will find it in the bookstores, in Aristoc, in Uganda Bookshop, and everywhere else, to be able to partake of this knowledge that is in this book as we seek to establish generational wealth.
And indeed, for someone who has read Rich Dad Poor Dad, definitely I'm glad she used that example, because now I'm definitely looking forward to grabbing a copy of A Guide to Building Generational Wealth for myself, one that relates with the story of a Ugandan and an African. At that, I think I would urge you to buy the book as well. Grab yourself a copy and see how best you can apply it to yourself as you write your own story for generations. And get that book from Aristoc. It's online as well as, of course, at Aristoc Bookstore. Now, thank you so much for following that story. Let's quickly have a look at what we have on the forex scene as of yesterday, 22nd October 2025. And the dollar opened at 3,468.77 and was selling at 3,478.77. By midday, it was at an increase of 3,487.32 and selling at 3,497.32. Slight drop there through to 3,482.55, buying and selling at 3,492.55. The British pound was buying at 4,648.68 and selling at 4,662.03. The euro was buying at 4,043.76 and selling at 4,055. And the Kenyan shilling was buying at 26.95 and selling at 27.03. The euro, let me just say that again, was buying at 4,043.76 and selling at 4,055.37. And the Kenyan shilling buying at 26.95 and selling at 27.03. The Tanzanian shilling maintaining 1.40 and selling at the same as yesterday, as the other day, 1.41. And the South African rand buying at 200.29 and selling at 200.87. Well, that's it from GMU Business. Up next is the agenda. And of course, be reminded that it's day 2 and final day for the nomination of Member of Parliament aspirants as we look forward to the general election 2026. Good morning, Uganda. Save that number 0709-602-592. You definitely have to be part of the conversations that we're having today as we bring you all the updates. Good morning.
Of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't go.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Taxation is a bit complicated, and the only way to demystify it and make it as easy to understand and to comply with is through engagement. Is there a limit to the number of cars a returning citizen is bringing into Uganda? Who has paid the excise duty on this water is not the supermarket which has sold you this bottle at 1,000. It's not the business. It is the man who is going to drink this water. We strongly believe that it will only be through such constructive engagement that we'll be able to broaden our tax base and build our country together.
Buza Kamiso now. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The government's commanded is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of how are you protecting our indigenous seed?
It's going to be a tall project that answers somebody's question.
The front bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice, and commerce.
When you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers, you bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house, apply for a passport. If you have a Ugandan who has a successful logistics firm in the US, it means he can come to Uganda and do a lot more.
Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with me, Jethro Kasaiji, your interface with the government only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV. It's time for the agenda, and what other conversation, of course, besides what is happening, and that is the nomination exercise of Member of Parliament aspirants who are becoming candidates. There are some who became candidates already yesterday, and there are those who are becoming candidates today, starting 9 a.m. And in studio with me is Mr. Paul Bukenya, the Deputy Spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, to have this conversation with us. So to be a part of the show, 0709 602 592. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Julie, and pleasure to be back on UBC.
Yes, indeed. Always a pleasure having you.
To talk to the nation, yes. Thank you for inviting me.
Right. How was yesterday? Do you describe what it was like from the lenses of the Electoral Commission?
Yeah. Yesterday went well. Day one went well. And for us as the Electoral Commission, of course, we look at some milestones.
Yes.
First of all, it happened. We appointed a date, and we got there. And we had the start to the nomination. That's something to tick off.
It's an achievement.
And you say, yeah, we gazetted that date. And we, by God's grace, of course, and all these other things that happen around and will happen, and then we still got to nominate candidates. So the aspirants have their dreams to you know, contest for elective office. And when you are able to conduct the process and enable them to achieve that, it is something that on both sides is worth celebrating. So day one went well in the sense that all our districts across the country and the city's offices were open, and the officers were able to serve those who presented themselves to us and who satisfied the requirements for nomination as candidates for the various elective positions. And in terms of compliance with the guidelines, we saw, and we are receiving reports, because we will get a fuller report later on. But we are receiving reports that there was largely a compliance with our guidelines, including how to access the venue. Of course, we saw some processions which went out of that arrangement, but also that was managed. And we think and expect that there will be even better conduct today, and we'll conclude the exercise. So day one went well. We are yet to put together all the statistics from across the country, but for those who presented themselves to us, we were able to handle them and declare candidates nominated. That's why we saw many people in jubilating yesterday across the platforms.
Let's indeed have a look at the requirements. Of course, you talked about them yesterday, but even for that one who's going in today, I know there are candidates who missed the opportunity of being nominated officially. Yes, they paid the money, obviously, but due to things as simple as their passport size photos not being, lacking the qualification of a passport size photo required by the Electoral Commission. So just to reiterate some of these requirements, and some that need that detail, not like a passport size photo. Someone might think it's just a photo.
Actually, it is a postcard size photo, and that's what our guideline says. You know, a postcard size photo has dimensions that are bigger than a passport size photo, which we ordinarily use. And we were having a light conversation with someone who had to go and put their photo back again, because they were able to do it anyway. And I said, but you know, these days we don't have photo albums, so we don't even know these dimensions. Yeah, but a postcard size photo is the prescribed photo that we want, because we use it to generate the photo for the ballot paper. And we need it in that size so that we can work with it. Of course, now with technologies, people can make arguments that you can scan even the smallest photo and get what you want. But you know, you are dealing with hundreds of thousands of photos, and you have a limited time. You know, we're going into ballot paper production. So we have specified that bring the photo that we can use to conveniently generate the ballot paper, so that you appear there. The people need to recognize you and say, this is Paul, this is how it looks. And of course, even the way we described or prescribed it should be straight face. Those other poses can be maybe on your posters, but for purposes of the ballot paper. We want a straight face photo where we can see the ears and all that. So we had, these are, even here at the head office, there were just a few, some of the things where we had to tell someone that, you know what, can you run to town and have this produced in the right size? And that doesn't, on day one, of course, you can run back and get it done and even come back and complete the process. It would be very bad if you sent out on the last day when there's no opportunity to come back.
All right.
So a detail as a photo specification can actually delay or even fail your nomination because it is a requirement. And behind the photo, you write the order of your names. That's how we're going to use the names on the ballot paper. And we've gotten petitions in courts of law arising out of, you know, contesting that the order of names, you know, how someone's names are written is challenged. So you may think it's a small detail, but in law it is required, and we've issued that guideline and we expect compliance. So those are some of the things that I think probably we've had.
Right.
We will await to see any other issues that could not allow someone to proceed, but all those who approached us on day one and for example, at the head office where we had special interest groups, we would guide that please put this right and you can come back that very same day or even come back tomorrow.
And that, of course, there are photo studios around to help.
There are photo studios around, and the district, most of the districts around, but also preparation. So it says something about preparation of aspirants, because if these are guidelines you've had for all this time, and then you're not able to put your file together well, then it has a lot to say about you as an aspirant, more than anyone else.
Right.
It has to do with you as an aspirant. How did you prepare yourself to present yourself? These are legal documents. It has to be a complete file. If it misses a detail, it becomes a problem. The returning officer will not take it. They will set it aside and say that you must comply with this so that we can nominate you.
Right. Let's look at processions by candidates now after they leave the Electoral Commission. I understand their guidelines were to have a small meeting gathering with their supporters and just maybe share their manifesto, but of course look forward to campaigns that will start officially on the 10th of November. But yesterday was rather different. There were quite a number of processions here and there from the candidates who had convoys following them or taxis or things like that. What do you have to speak into that, just in case it goes out of hand today and security is involved, and of course now the narrative changes for citizens?
Yeah, now concerning how to access our nomination venues, we were very, very clear, and we guided that there should be 2 vehicles, which should carry not more than 10 supporters or 10 persons, drivers inclusive, and candidate and proposer and seconder inclusive. So that is a team of 10. You know, the places where we're doing nominations are district offices. They are not, you know, like district grounds or SASA grounds where you can accommodate. And it's not even a rally. It's a nomination. And then you are looking at a district where you have, you know, a district like Wakiso, with you know, you are going to nominate candidates for almost 9 constituencies.
Right.
You know, so that is quite a crowd, and each position is contested, and we do not know how many aspirants are coming in, and you allow them all to have all this crowd. First of all, they are supporting different candidates. Just by meeting and coming into contact with each other, it can spark some chaotic conduct. So that's why we say, for purposes of nominations, we call for a small number. Now we don't have a full report on day one, although we've seen some media impressions and photos and all that some people actually did have convoys accompanying them. So we had guided that you come with that number, then after nominations you can go to a venue and meet your supporters, because it's a joyous day. You've been nominated and the candidate, and probably you are the one who is also, you know, a leading contender for that, and probably you even the one who goes through with that, because we don't know, we're not yet there. So it's, everyone has those hopes. They are in to win. So you want to meet your supporters and celebrate. It's a joyous day, which is why we guided that those kind of large groups and crowds are for a meeting after nomination, not to proceed towards the nomination venue. So we want to then emphasize that persons who are going out today, please let those people stay at a certain point where you have agreed, and you will meet them after nomination. For purposes of coming to the nomination venue, keep it minimal in accordance with what we issued in the guidelines. And of course, I know that security will have a challenge if you exceed that, and in enforcing that regulation. That's why we get, clashes. And then people turn around and say, no, this is chaotic, this is a violent election. But no, that's not how it is supposed to be. That's not what we designed it to be. Unless we work together, we can't achieve a smooth, peaceful nomination. So I think for those areas where we noticed those issues, we've reached out to the returning officers to work and liaise with the security structures to really enforce that. Our nomination centers are small areas. You imagine a place like our division, our regional office in Ntinda. You can't bring thousands to that. But also, the cities are still at work. The students are doing their examinations. There's life, there's traffic is going on. But you can choose a venue and you meet your supporters there after your nomination. And then after that, of course, we will go into campaigns where you will move freely to various places within the constituency.
Right. 0709602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should send your message to, strictly message, so that we are able to respond to you effectively and be a part of the conversation. We are looking at what day one was like and an update on the ongoing nominations. Of course, day two is today, which is also the final day. Are there any complaints you've perhaps experienced or heard from aspirants as of yesterday regarding the exercise?
Some of the issues we are hearing and managing and handling and guiding are basically about, and I'll just mention a few because we will definitely get a report at the end of it because we've just started in. But some of the issues that our returning officers are handling are the persons who still have unresolved issues, that I'm a flag bearer. I'm a flag bearer. I'm supposed to unresolved issues from political parties. Yes. They are minimal. They are not. We don't have a problem countrywide, but it's one of the issues that have dropped into our complaint system. That my issue is not yet resolved, and yet I'm the flag bearer and still handling. They still have back and forth issues about that. So they kind of create a complex situation for the process, because you've presented yourself and we need to be clear that you are the flag bearer, because we are not involved in the party issues or what. We know you as an aspirant and we want to see that you comply with our guideline. If you're a flag bearer, you must have proof to that effect. So, but that's not a very big nationwide issue, at least as at the close of yesterday, but that's one of the issues was coming into us, that people still have unresolved issues and still, but also of course others have come as independents. The other issues, of course, are which we handled within our powers, and what are people who, although we guided very well on how to pay nomination fees, some still went and paid at the district, which is not the procedure. And we've handled those because the payment for parliamentary is to the Uganda government, of course, through a procedure that is well prescribed and available for people to use, using the URA portal, going through the platform and generating a personal registration number, and then going through the system and paying. So we have some isolated instances of people who went and paid to the cashier at the district level, and those ones had to be assisted.
Yes.
The others, of course, are the ones that we've turned away to go and put their papers right, and then, of course, they would cry foul and say, no, you're not fair. but I think the issue is the compliance with guidelines. So whoever has not satisfied the requirements will be told that, please, you can go back and put things right. You have an opportunity to do it tomorrow. So we have a coordination and a call center where we will pick information, and some of the calls coming in were still about my papers.
Right.
Can I still use old papers that I used last time? Of course, we can't use old papers that used in 2016. This is a new electoral process. This is a new electoral exercise. And our guidelines were very clear. And in the roadmap which we issued 2.5 years ago, we showed that this is how you should prepare your academic documents. So I think we've not had really, and until we close day 2,
The 2 years.
where pending issues must have been resolved, we can't say there's been a significant issue that we've not been able to handle. But we are waiting to see. And of course, after nominations, like we display, we make available these files. If anyone has an issue with a nominated candidate, they can raise it. But at this moment, as at the end of day 1, and given that we need to get reports from all over the country, it has been a smooth exercise. It has gone well.
All right. Now that you talk about those who had unresolved issues, what role do you think political parties play in making sure that this process is smooth?
Parties play a big role, first of all. They play a big role because they are the ones that present candidates to us. And then candidates must be prepared and presented in accordance with the electoral laws, but also importantly in accordance with the party constitutions.
Right.
Political parties have constitutions, which constitutions align with the laws of Uganda. You can have a party constitution that contradicts provisions of our, the main law, the principal law, which is the Constitution of Uganda, and then the other electoral enabling laws, for example, Presidential Elections Act, Parliamentary, and local government. So parties play a big role in that. If they organize themselves well and prepare in advance and resolve their issues internally, then by the time we come to nominations, they present to us a candidate without, who is not contested. And they save us from the trouble of, because we don't organize party primaries, so we can't even resolve internal party issues. Then we would be getting into the politics of the political party and ruling in favor. Of course, there are courts of laws which can handle that.
Yes.
But also the parties themselves have constitutions that provide for the way they can resolve complaints resolution and all that. So when parties prepare their candidates well and resolve their issues well, it paves the way for a smooth nomination process. And that's their biggest role. But also, when parties are in preparation, the parties also help the entire electoral process to be inclusive, for example. After the nomination of presidential candidates, there were questions that in this presidential race, we do not have a female candidate, for example. And that it's not an inclusive lineup. There were conversations around that.
Yes.
So political parties help to make the process inclusive, and including up to the time when we come to nominations. For example, when they prepare and present female candidates, for example, when they prepare and present young people as candidates, when they prepare and present persons with disabilities into the direct elected positions, they are doing inclusive, they are promoting inclusivity and widening, those principles of inclusive elections. So parties play a very big role. But also the parties, and we have 27 political parties, I think. So when they participate, for example, present candidates to us, and we're going to do an analysis because we just started yesterday. At the end of it, we'll say how many parties have presented candidates for nomination. We've been doing statistics for local government. How many parties have presented candidates for local government council elections. We have 8 candidates presidential, and they are all coming from political parties, which is a good thing, because we're in a multi-party dispensation. So parties are very, very important. They also can rein in on their agents and help us, and of course at the end of it, post-election, to accept results. So if you go through the election cycle, parties do play a very big role. And right now where we are at nominations, they're the ones presenting candidates to us. Of course, we have independent candidates as well. The law provides for us. And like I've mentioned, I've used that as a disclaimer maybe. At the end of it all, we will do the stats and show how many are presented by parties and how many are independent. But that's how central political parties are in the nomination process, and of course other processes. Yeah.
Right. Let me get into a couple of your comments. And somebody here says, good morning, Mr. Bokenya. Now it's important the process is going on well. When are you going to recruit presiding officers and polling assistants for the same job? Thank you. This is Isaac.
Yeah, wow, Isaac, thank you. We move in the electoral process, of course, we move, like I would say maybe thematically.
Yes.
We have milestones. So right now we're doing nominations. After nominations, one of the things that we're going to be doing is recruiting of polling officials. Our elections, we have a polling date. And for that polling date, we must have polling officials, of course, to manage the polling stations. We have 50,000 polling stations, 50,703 polling stations we published recently. Now for all of those polling stations, we will need officers, officials to manage them. And we will be conducting the recruitment across the country to have, people who will man the stations.
Right.
And that one is coming out. Isaac, we are going to announce that. It's a massive recruitment if you get a calculator and calculate, because we're looking at almost 8 persons per polling stations. And when you multiply that, it's quite a big group that we're going to be recruiting. And we'll be recruiting, Isaac, in time for the training to happen. And the training will cover all aspects of the polling day procedures, including the technology. What technology are we going to use? How are we going to use it? How will we identify voters, the biometric system, and all that, filling in the forms, declaration of results forms, and all that. So the program is there, and it's going to be announced to Isaac and others who are listening and watching. And we will let the country know, and we'll recruit from those areas across the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's look at events from yesterday. Are there lessons that the EC has picked that are going to be applied today to have a smooth end of this process, the nomination process for MP aspirants?
Yeah, I think one of them, of course, is, there are lessons, definitely. But although largely day one went well, and but there are lessons we can learn, especially on processions, because I think that's the big issue we saw. Although it's yet to get a full report, but from the few incidences we saw, I think the candidates, aspirants, because they are only candidates afterwards, aspirants need to comply with that requirement and not disrupt the life of the towns and the cities where they are. They need to do that, and then of course tap into the other opportunity which we have, that only go and meet your supporters afterwards. Okay. So I think it's something that we need to improve through today. How do we enforce that? But also reaching out to the security, working with security, more to make sure that security did a good job. The first impressions that we have are that these were managed, although some processions were big,
Yes.
but they manage them. But we don't need to make it hard for security. we need to make sure that we promote a peaceful and smooth process. So it's an area of processions, but also, our returning officers and our districts, how they handle numbers. They've come up with innovation and innovative ways of handling that. Given the large numbers, since I have 7 constituencies or maybe 5 constituencies in my district, then I'm going to block the day, and that has helped. So we think that has been a good practice, which we continue to use. By that I mean that the day is blocked. The first 3 hours are for this constituency A, the second 2 hours, and it doesn't take even long. The second 2 hours are for the district woman representative, But what also others have done is to create desks, because the returning officer is one, but with assistance and all that, create a desk that this is received here and processed, so that the process is smooth. Largely, the administrative issues that can help to enhance the smoothness of the process. Right. So we think day 2 will move well as well, and given that it's the last day, it's also likely to pose challenges, so we are ready for that.
Especially with numbers.
With numbers, and also a spillover from yesterday, or even, it's the last day. So when it is the last day, then you need to be ready for anything and everything, and I think we are set for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good morning. One who had paid nomination fees and he or she is not nominated. Does the Electoral Commission refund that money? This is Hard Jonan Arali Masindi. Now, I probably would answer you, but it's best that you get the detail from the horse's mouth. So please, Mr. Bukenya, speak to Hard Jonan Arali, who's wondering if one had paid nomination fees and they are not nominated, do they get their refund?
Oh, Charlie Alari. Now, the guideline says that it's a non-refundable fee.
Yes. So
the moment that fee is paid, it cannot be refunded back. And that money is paid to the Uganda administration, to the government, so it has already gone into the coffers.
Coffers, yes.
So the guideline is very clear, and really that's what I could say. It is non-refundable, and the moment it is paid, you cannot have it back. So, which is why when you're preparing, you make sure that you go through it very well and pay towards the, at the last point when you've put everything together. So it is not refundable. You cannot get it back.
Good morning, UBC. Thank you for the show. I'm concerned with the reason of charging 3 million per candidate. Remember, there are some youth and those with disability who are not going to manage the huge amount. Aren't you indirectly excluding them? This is John Kamwenge.
I wanted to even get the nomination fee is a requirement by the law.
Yeah.
It's a requirement in the law. And it is set, through a legal procedure and a legal process by Parliament. So it's one of the requirements for nominations. I think basically for elective positions, there must be a minimum, and that's why you're required to meet certain requirements. Otherwise, if nomination of candidates was open with no requirements, then I don't know how we would handle nominations for any position for that matter. Right. That's why you must be a citizen of Uganda, you must be 18 years and above, you must have, in the case of Parliament, you must have a minimum academic qualification, you must have people supporting you, 10 supporters from within the district or the constituency. And all these requirements are designed to ensure that that position, qualified persons are nominated for that position. Now, the monies are not supposed to designed to prohibit, to limit participation. I think we need to look at it as part of preparation for participation in that elective position. A member of Parliament is also a high office, is a high office, and I think you need to prepare for that and participate in it. And it is not true that it limits young people. It is also not true that it becomes a challenge to persons with disability. And the framers of the Constitution foresaw that certain groups probably would be left out because of certain limitations, and that's why there was provision for special interest groups. We had nominations yesterday at the Electoral Commission headquarters, and we've had a long line of aspirants, of persons with disabilities, who have come in to contest for that position, and also young people, youth. So I think what it requires then from our stakeholders out there is preparation. I would like to contest for this position. And this position requires me to have a minimum academic qualification. It requires me to have support. It requires me to raise a non-refundable fee of 3 million. If you prepare well, then you can come to that position. I think if we look at it, there's been discussions back and forth, it should be lowered and all that.
Yes.
But we also know that those who have said it should also be taken higher. That's why there's so many aspirants have come in. And for example, for presidential, the guidelines provide for 20 million shillings, and there are quite many aspirants whom we saw trying to go through the process. And for them, the biggest challenge was the supporter signatures. It was not even the money. It was the supporter signatures. So you could see that there were the requirements, those requirements help to safeguard that position so that it is not left without any requirement at all. So what is the money that you would call little? Because even for some positions where 50,000 is required, we also find people saying you should scrap the nomination fee for a councillor for 50,000 shillings. So I think the debate continues back and forth, but for now the law provides that to be nominated you must meet a requirement, and 3 million for that purpose, for purposes of parliamentary.
Interesting indeed that you emphasize that it's the law, because as I remember reading something one time that stated that using, how do I put it, having the law on the side of sympathy is violating the ethical code of the legal practice, because you're encouraging emotional bias.
Yes.
And it's rather interesting that the law also has its certain boundaries in which under which it operates.
Yeah, it helps to balance some of the otherwise, if you left it open without any, then we would have, and it would have other consequences. Now for us who are in election administration, we would have then a ballot paper of probably 30 candidates.
Yes.
Now that is also something that you need to look at by way of voter education, marking the ballot paper, the cost of the election. So if there are no requirements for, because we've gotten a bashing that Electoral Commission made conditions difficult for people to contest for the presidency, and yet it is our right. And now if there are no requirements, of course it is the law that requires that you meet those. If there are no requirements, and now you have an exercise book of candidates, I don't know how that would do.
Yes.
Candidates, you know. Then, it's not probably in my place to go deeper into that, but we maintain that the requirements of the law must be met.
Now, let's look at the side of accountability and public confidence. How exactly is the Electoral Commission making sure that it upholds public confidence and integrity during this nomination season?
Yeah, one of the things that we've done to build confidence, and it's been all through the roadmap, is to be open and transparent and communicate what we're doing. We launched this roadmap, like we say, 2.5 years ago.
Right.
That is already being fair to everyone who wants to participate. And in that roadmap, which was detailed, it remains detailed, of course, and it shows you what you're required to do. We told Ugandans, when are we updating the National Voters Register, for example, so that we together participate in it. Now that's being transparent. We indicated the period, and this activity was conducted, the period when we are going to display the National Voters Register, so that we clean it together. And we announced that. We put out all the messages on radio, TV, social media, everywhere. That is, you are told in advance, this is what is going to happen. This is how the process is going to be. Please participate. Play a role. You know, we build this confidence together as a nation, as people of Uganda. Like Isaac said, he says, when are you recruiting and all that. All these people are going to manage the process at your polling station. Are your children in those areas? They are not going to come from Wakiso, Kampala, or whatever. They are in Buvuma there, the young people, they are your children. Because, like I told you, the polling stations are 50,703. And for each station, we're going to have at least eight persons. We're going to give the details in due course. Those people are going to come from those areas. They speak the language of the place. They know you. They can read the name very well and not confuse it. They are your children. They are cousins, brothers, sisters, uncles. So the confidence needs to really, we need to work on the confidence. We need to be confident of this because it is our process. They've not come from anywhere else. They come from that area. And they are going to manage the process, your process at your polling station in your area there. That's what Isaac was asking about. And that's what we're going to do. We're not sending people from Kampala to go to all those places. No, we can't do that.
Right.
So the confidence then is sometimes a perception issue where people think that, no, it cannot be a fair process, even when they're the ones who have participated in it. Now we're having nominations. We've guided and said this is what is required of you. You must meet these requirements. When we insist on them and we tell you to go away, we are being fair and we're being just because we are complying with the law. But also when you come and you present yourself to us and you satisfy the requirements, we nominate you. Now someone who doesn't want you in the race thinks that we are not doing a good job.
Right.
But no, that one should not have been nominated because either he's not from this tribe or from that religion or from that what. So then I think the other issues are with us as communities. But in terms of presenting the process and ensuring that the process is transparent, open, and fair to everyone, we've done that. We've played our part.
Right.
But also the ongoing processes and up to polling and all that, we do it together. So I think we need to trust ourselves as Ugandans that we are doing our own processes. We are building our own electoral democracy. And we're electing our own leaders. We need to be confident and sure of that and participate in that process. But also we know that some people tend to stay away from the process and say, I'll not participate, I don't trust the process. And for their reasons, they have their reasons, and it's not compulsory, by the way, to participate. So they don't participate, and then at the end of it, they say, it's not a fair process, I cannot participate in that, and they've not participated. And then you wonder how you're going to deal with this. So why don't you come in and participate and test it, put it to the test. But to stand as a defense and then say, you know, but basically this is something that we do together. This is something we've done together. If I were to go through the roadmap, what we've done together with you, you would probably have a change of mind and say, nah, this is our thing, let's own it together. Because we demarcated the electoral areas, we displayed the constituencies, we updated the register together. We asked you to come and tell us who is dead within your area because we don't know who is dead here in Kampala. It's so you who knows who has died.
Yes.
So that you recommend the removal of that person. So if you've not done it, then we do not know who has died, and we didn't do that. So, you know, all these processes. Now the same with nominations. The nomination process is open. It's taking place. After nomination, we will subject these nomination forms to inspection.
Right.
Come and tell us if there's any problem with the nomination. If you don't, the period expires and we take to process our ballot papers. And then we will have elections. And then after elections, they'll come and say, no, Paul was not qualified to stand. So I think then there's you need to question also ourselves as Ugandans in that area. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Bokenya, for that update. Day 2 is today, and what would be your parting shots?
Yeah, today we call on those who are coming to present themselves to us to put things together, to put them well, and then present themselves to us. We are open. Our teams are supportive. They've guided in all aspects within our mandate. We will not do your work, please. If you're not set, we will not do your work. Our work is to ensure that you've complied so that we nominate. So please put up a clean job on your part, but also to be peaceful. The reports, preliminaries indicate that it has been generally peaceful.
Right.
So we ask you to be peaceful, and so that we achieve and conclude the nomination well. Then bring in the harmonized programs, the programs so that they are harmonized ahead of commencement of campaigns on the 10th of November. Then for the rest of the dates that have not been announced, please be patient. The Commission is going to announce them and gazette them for local government, for example. Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you very much, Paul Bokenya. He is the Deputy Spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, and he's been speaking with us this morning as we look forward to the second and final day of the nomination of members of Parliament aspirants who are soon to become candidates today, as there are those who became candidates yesterday. Stick around, because we still have a lot in store for you as we bring you this story as it happens. Good morning.